Hey there, Synth Drones. Today I want to talk about synthesizer reviews and being careful. Hi, I'm Pure Ambient Drone. This is my channel where I vlog about synthesizers. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button, tap the bell. Keep up with all of my synth adventures. And you know what? As of this video, 2,800 plus synth drones have made the commitment to subscribe and tap the bell for notifications. I know it's not as big as some of the other YouTubes, not even close, okay, as big as some of the other YouTube channels out there. But to me, I really never thought that so many of you would love tuning in and watching my videos, and I really appreciate it. I really do. So with that being said, I want to talk about synthesizer reviews. And you know, I just want you guys to be careful. I used to sell computers back in the 90s, and I always told the truth. I never ever lied about the product, not ever. And I used to manage and own telemarketing companies, okay? I know, right? Don't hate me. But I was always truthful, and I never lied, and I trained my employees to never ever lie. But there was something else that I always taught them too, and this is the big thing that you need to learn today. I would teach every one of my employees never ever mention a negative about the product. Always talk positive. Sound excited about it. Never bring out the flaws, but always be talking about the good stuff. If a flaw comes up, work around it. Circumvent it by mentioning a positive. I watch a lot of synth reviews, not because I'm interested in buying a synthesizer, but because I'm watching what they're not saying. And you know what? The truth is in the comments. You synth drones who go around and you own some of this gear that other people are praising on the altar of synth gods. Okay, the ones who get into the comments and tell you about the flaws of the synthesizers, those are the ones you should be trusting. Now, wait a minute. I'm not talking about synth bashing, because there are synth bashers out there. For whatever reasons, there are people out in our world that like to rip a synthesizer apart, and really they don't have a complete basis for doing so. And I'm not talking about those kind of comments. I'm talking about objective comments where people like you and I are responding to video reviews, telling the truth about synthesizers, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful. So when you're watching a synth review, you have to be cautious that you're not being sold, because you know what? There's something called the ABCs of selling. You know what it means? Always be selling. Now, the reason why I did this video tonight is because I was looking at an online music store. I'm not going to say the name here. And you know what this online music store does for their products? They review them. Well, let me ask you a question. If you're selling the product that you're reviewing, and you're a big music company, or at least an outlet on the internet, are you going to list all of the negatives? Are you even going to look for the negatives? Are you even going to be thinking about the negatives when you're presenting this on video? No, you're not going to be doing that. You're going to be excited. Here today we have this incredible synthesizer that you're going to love. In fact, if you don't order it right now, we might be out of them by the time you're done watching this video. So pick up that phone, hit that computer mouse, and order right now, because this is the greatest synthesizer you will ever lay your hands on. Let me tell you how great it is. Isn't that how some of those videos go? Or almost every single one of them? You got some jolly fellow on there that's dancing around the keys, and he's so happy to tell you all of the wonderful things about the synthesizer. And you know what? He's not lying to you. He's telling you everything your addicted mind wants to hear. Because you know what? Synth addiction is real. And a lot of addicted synth drones go to reviews to look up synthesizers. And unfortunately, they go to places that are selling the synthesizers. You're going to the dealer, literally, to have him tell you how great the product is. Not a good idea. No, it's better to research what you're looking for objectively. Know what you're getting into. Not doing that will cause you to be very disappointed in some cases. And in other cases, you might find yourself in an infinite loop where you're buying and selling and you're buying and you're selling. You know why? Because you didn't do your honest research. You see, synth drones that are addicted, they want to be talked into the product. So they head straight over to places like that. But it's not just online music stores that do this. It's large, big, mega synth channels that do it too. I'm not synth channel bashing. There's a lot of them out there that are objective. But there are a lot of them out there that get free gear or get a discounted gear or they get some incentive to show you what they're selling you. And they're pushing it on you. Now, they're not lying to you. They're just not telling you the whole truth. They're not being objective. Now, what I mean about the whole truth is they're omitting some of the things that would be a negative. And some of these channels and some of these salespeople, they fool you by naming one or two or three minor little things, but then counter it by telling you all of the positive stuff. All right? But once you get it in your hand, you could be disappointed. Then that doesn't mean that there isn't some synthesizers out there that aren't as good as they're hyped up to be, because there are some really good synthesizers out there. There is. It just means that you have to be careful when you're watching synth reviews, especially from companies that are not, I don't want to say the word independent, because a lot of them are independent companies, but you don't want to be trusting that you're going to hear the whole story from synth channels and videos that are gaining something by you buying the product. That's just my 2 cents worth. Now, I don't do a whole lot of synth reviews on here for that very reason. I don't want to miss out on telling you guys something that may or may not be true, and leaving something out or adding something in. So I try to steer away from that. And I do advertise on my page that I buy a lot of gear from ZZ Sounds or however you pronounce it. But I buy a lot of gear from them because I've never had a bad experience yet. I hope not. I hope that keeps going. But I've had a lot of good business with them, and I've had no problems with them, and I don't want to hear anything about whether or not they're good or they're bad. That's not what this video is about. So please, let's object from reviewing Z-Sounds. I just thought I'd mention that to give you a straight point that if I was selling a product to you guys, that I would be very, very, very reluctant to try to tell you all the negative things about it. You see? Now, with that being said, I do have links in my descriptions and in a comment below this video that can bring you to some gear that Z-Sounds sells. And if you want to buy from them, I will get a small little bitty commission that affects you in no way, shape, or form. But I'm not going to base my reviews on that factor. I'm just not going to do it. And I don't think a whole lot of smaller synth channels will do it either. And I think that's why they don't get the incentives that the bigger channels get. So believe me when I tell you this, you have to go into these reviews with a bit of objectivity on your part, or better yet, stay far away from them. But there is one thing that they are good for. Some reviews are good for listening to the synthesizer, to hearing the synthesizer. Although, I can't prove this, but I had a little birdie tell me that a lot of times they run the synthesizer through a nice warm preamp to give it some flavor, and maybe a few other outboard effects to give it a little flavor, to give it some warmth, to kind of make it a little more creamier. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but I wouldn't put it past them, because you know what? There's no law against them doing that. Now, is there? Anyways, I hope that this video helps you. And you know what? I'm just opening up a discussion about it. So I know that there's a lot of channels out there that can be trusted to be objective. And then there is the exact opposite of that, that they're just out for a buck and they're just going to tell you what they need you to hear. They're not lying. They're not lying. I'm not saying anybody's lying, but they're just telling you what you need to hear so that you will buy the product. So if this video has helped you, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and join me over at patreon.com/Pure Ambient Drone. The description has a link to that as well as a comment. I have content over there that I don't include on this channel, and it supports me. So love to see you on the other side. Until next time, I am Pure Ambient Drone. Keep calm and synth on.